guys, gals, and parapals. This is the first show of Creepy Cryptids. I am the host, Wicca Consultant, or the better half of Paranormal Consultant, or as most people know me as, Mrs. Consultant. So, tonight, we are gonna talk about stuff. I don't really know. I didn't actually plan that far ahead. I'm bad at this. For some reason, the green screen's acting up. Apparently, I have a hole right in the center of my head. And according to Matt, I am the better half. So, also, this is from earlier this afternoon, but I'm going to show it anyway. Talk cryptids. So, basically, I'm going to do a premise of the show. I'm getting text messages. Never mind. Okay. But the rundown of this show is basically talk about multiple things. Cryptids. Also, we have squeakers, which she doesn't have a camera right now.
Hey, everybody. I will in just a few minutes. I apologize. It's been one of those days.
But yeah, we have the guest of the squeakers. Well, helper squeakers, and then maybe at some point helper lurker if he wants to, he can join. But now the camera's out of focus. The basic rundown of this show is it's going to talk about a lot of randomness and other things. We're going to talk about cryptids, so like Bigfoot, aliens, Wendigo, chupacabras, all that. We are also going to discuss Wicca, obviously, because it says in my name, I am the Wiccan Consultant. So the different aspects of Wicca, I will answer questions about Wicca if I can. If not, I might just tell you to do some research, or I'll do the research for you and then show you the answer. Whichever comes first. Probably the second one if I don't know the answer, because I like research. And I had something else to say and I forgot. Also, the sponsors. We have Ghost Energy, #Legend of the Week. These are really good, by the way. If anybody has not tried these are really, really good. We also have Para, Matt's favorite. I'm not on Parapost Network, but Para, so Parapost Network. It is an app for Android and iOS if you want to get it. And then, of course, the wonderful P3 program that Matt has graciously created for us to enjoy. And it's Scott. Hi, Scott. This is my show. Welcome to the show, Scott. Creepy Cryptids, where we talk about everything from demons to legends of states and different cryptids in those states.
Speaking of cryptids, what's your favorite one?
I have a few. I like I have two. I have two really ones that I really, really researched, and it's the Mothman and the Wendigo. I've researched those extensively. I love Mothman though. I love the whole like lore about Mothman.
I'm still learning about cryptids, so I'm if I look like I'm all weirded out or something, I might. That's why.
And then there's lizard people, and then
Yeah, I have heard
mirror
about the lizard people. Those are awesome.
mirror monsters. You ever heard of mirror
Mhm.
monsters?
No.
They're like a different version of a doppelganger. If you've ever seen those TikToks, now the TikToks are fake, obviously, but if you've ever seen the TikToks where somebody looks in the mirror, says something, looks away, and their reflection does something different, that's
Okay, yes,
basically
I
a
have.
that's basically a mirror monster. It's the fake version of a mirror monster, but it's a mirror monster.
I have something like that in my mirror, and I can't really say which mirror because it's been in the family for years, but it creeps me out every so often. I'm like, no, go away.
Yeah, that's what's called a mirror monster. It's basically a doppelganger or your second self trapped in a mirror. And
That's weird.
if you stare at it too long, I've also done a lot of research on that cuz why not? Um if you stare at it long enough, apparently it'll try to grab you and pull you into the mirror and then take over your life.
Well, that's good to know.
And it'll act just like you. Like you won't even notice a personality change. Like the people around you won't even notice that they're talking to a monster
Okay, that would be kind of creepy.
unless you look at their reflection. Their reflection is different. They don't have a reflection
Hmm.
because they are the reflection of yourself in the mirror. They can't look at themselves in mirrors, otherwise they see you, and then the other people around them can see you too.
So, how would that? Because mirrors are kind of considered as portals. Are they part of that portal?
Yep.
As well.
It's basically its own little like mirror dimension or pocket dimension basically.
Wow, that's crazy. I think I'm gonna have to do something now.
Just don't stare at it too long.
No.
You might get pulled in the mirror.
Well, every single member of my family has stared at that mirror at certain times, and even my grandmother at certain times would say that there was weird stuff in that mirror. And for them to say that, that was always like, it was like a not talked about thing in their house. So
We don't need another one of you. And the real you would be trapped in the mirror, so technically there still would be one of you, just not the real you. I like D&D. I have a
Me
D&D
too.
set.
I haven't played that game in years.
Neither have I. I have a Rick and Morty. I bought it from GameStop, but I don't have time to play it other than Mondays, and all my friends that do play D&D are too busy or they work.
Darn it. I don't even know where I would keep it up for that whole time because sometimes it can go on for days.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The Rick and Morty one is a starter kit, so it has its own campaign. I just don't have a board. Like, I have to make a board or draw a board or whatever. And I don't have pieces. It didn't come with the player pieces. So I have to do that too. But
We have a store here in town called Uncle's Games that has like pieces of game stuff or like almost every game you can think of. So if you lose a piece, all you have to do is go down there.
I think we need to go to the game store that's in the Columbia Mall if it's still there. The one that has all the like board games and tabletop game stuff, because I think they might have stuff for D&D, and I could just steal some to find some of the little figurines.
Right?
Just be like, here, I have figurines now. Can we play? I bought this like years ago and nobody wants to play it with me. And it's a really funny campaign because it's Rick and Morty. Who doesn't like Rick and Morty?
Right.
And it's a campaign where Rick is the DM So obviously, like, pardon my language, on my stream we do swear, but not very, very severely. But shit is gonna get fucked up.
Well, and that's part of the beyond and unknown part of paranormal and the cryptid world. So you just never know. Like, I think one topic I'm really interested in is the indigos, or I think I might be pronouncing that wrong.
Wendigos,
Yes, wendigos. Thank you.
the cannibals.
Yeah, because I keep seeing a couple of them on TikTok, couple people that keep filming them, and it's like, is it really something that's out there, or is it like a bear or something that they keep seeing? I mean, I don't want to like.
I played it and I am currently buttless. So something took your butt in D&D? Apparently now we have mirror monsters and butt snatchers in Dungeons and Dragons. That's a new one. I'll have to tell my friends that play D&D that. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, one of my husband's friends has his butt lost because it got taken by a butt snatcher in D&D.
A buttless fedora.
That's
Sorry, fedora.
that's an imagery I don't want. I don't understand what's going on with this camera, but it's really starting to annoy me. It's like in and out of focus. But wendigos are cannibals.
Okay.
They eat people.
So are they like in the family of skinwalkers then?
They are indigenous. I don't remember what indigenous people, but I know they are indigenous. I want to.
Okay. I'll have to look that up more.
I believe it is Native American, though.
Okay.
Yep, Great Lake Natives. I just looked it up on Google. It's Great Lake Natives. It's a mythical creature or evil spirit.
Okay.
So basically, it's something which there's a lot of different. It's been portrayed differently where people have turned into it because they've like eaten their own kind. It's almost like a curse in a way.
So does it run along the lines of like a shapeshifter in a way, or?
No, I feel like it would be kind of more related to a skinwalker because they can mimic things. They don't change their form like a skinwalker, but they can mimic voices.
Okay, that I can see that. Weird.
So I've heard something, and I don't know if this is like just somebody screwing around or whatever. On YouTube, I found a video of what sounded like somebody calling to somebody else in a voice that they recognized in like the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. This guy was like camping and he recorded what sounded, he said, like his best friend calling him for help, but he said in the video, he's like, I'm by myself. Like there's nobody else out here. Like I'm camping in the middle of the woods.
That would creep me out. I'm sorry. That would so creep me out.
But like I said, I don't know a lot of times if that's 100% true or not. So I'm kind of iffy about that kind of stuff. But it seemed pretty legit. But it also could have been that he was lying and his friend was there and his friend was out in the woods going like, help me.
You just never know with some of those things online, and that's, unless you actually see it in front of them. But, there's also costumes and stuff, so it's hard to tell.
Especially with wendigos, all you really need is to get a plastic deer skull and a black morph suit and be like really skinny and really tall, just like Slender Man.
Yeah, and that one's been blown out of the water.
Slender Man's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
I believe that he's out there, but I think that people have taken it too far.
Scott asked, "What about the Skinwalkers?"
I've watched that show, but I couldn't get myself to watch it all the way through because I freaked out.
Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
I've watched Skinwalker Ranch. There's a lot of weird things that happen there. Although I have yet on that entire show when they do the like night patrols, have I ever seen them find actual footage of a skinwalker walking around. Like I want to see a skinwalker walking around or like a skinwalker's ghost cuz technically they're not immortal. They are still mortal. They can just
Mm-hmm.
transform.
That's interesting. Do they form into the actual form, like the full form of another, or is it like is there a visibility of certain signs?
They can turn into different animals, but it's always the same if they turn into a different animal. Like it's usually if you see a skinwalker, it usually looks like something that has rabies.
I don't know if I would be thrilled to see one or if I would be like, okay.
Because I have, and I do believe this is true because it's been on the Travel Channel for like the paranormal stuff of these two guys. They were on an Indian reservation. They got permission from one of their friends that lived on the reservation to go and hunt on the reservation. Well, they were hunting, they were spotlighting at night on the reservation. Rachel asked, "Do you need a ghost energy drink?"
I think I'm coming off with that one. Uh, Seriously, I probably could use a bucket worth of Ghost Energy drink right now because of my knee situation, but
That is true. And that's something that we are going to cover on my show as well is entities that are manifested by people who put their energy into things to
exactly.
manifest something. That's what this show is about. It's about literally
Hmm.
everything that Matt's show doesn't talk about. So it's the Wicca side, the cryptid side, like demons, demonology. I love demonology. I want to get a demonology book.
I've wanted to, but I can't find a good source to actually go off of. Like, there's so many different things online that it's like, okay, which one can I actually trust that's actually verified and so on. I mean, you got your folklore and then you've got your actual sites.
It's about I love folklore though. There's so much folklore, especially over
There is.
there's a lot of fairy folklore. I
I like the
love
Grimm.
I love the Grimms. I actually have had a Grimm follow me. And this is like legit. I've had a Grimm follow me from a cemetery where they're supposedly supposed to be protecting it. He's followed me home.
Is that what they are? I could never. I've seen things like that, but I always thought they were like gatekeepers.
If it's just like a black shadow, I basically consider it a Grimm because it's a keeper of the cemetery,
Right.
which is basically somebody that just watches over the ghosts that are there and makes sure they stay where they're supposed to be.
Right. One night, my friends and I, we went out for our first time. This was my very first group that I was part of. And we went out to the cemetery, and I saw something, and I wasn't going to say anything until somebody else possibly saw it because we all were sensitives at the time. And I kid you not, one right after another, somebody saw something, and I always told them to whisper in my ear before whispering it to the whole group so that we could identify it. And sure enough, every single person, including one that didn't see very much of anything, said that they saw it, and it was quite interesting. And every time I go out there, I see it, but I respect its boundaries because it's just I don't know what it's capable of doing.
Yeah, they don't really do much. They try to not interact with people and not be seen by people. I just kind of felt that something was weird because something kept following me around the one cemetery Matt was, and that is true. Do not forget to share this video with the hashtag Legend of the Week. Me and Matt are both sponsored by Ghost Energy. Please do that. Matt also feels attacked, and
Oh, wait until Wednesday, Matt.
I understand you do have cryptid talk, but you've never had me on your show to have cryptid talk. You know I love that stuff. I'm basically an expert, just not a complete expert. I'm a novice expert. There's a difference.
And I'm still learning, so.
Hi,
But
Ken.
I'm gonna put my thing on. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, Lesser Key of Solomon about demons. I want one of those.
I might be right back.
Okay, Squeakers is gone. Matt says, hey, thanks for stopping by. What's that? See, my local library really isn't that old, though, so I don't know if I would actually find anything. I might, though. They do have kind of like a restricted section, I guess you would call it, in the Thomas Beaver Library in Danville, but I don't know. I know there's a lot of old papers. But yes, this is a show about cryptids and demons and everything fun. If anybody has any questions, that'd be cool too. I believe they got rid of a lot. I believe. I think they emptied out quite a bit of their old stuff. Sorry, Squeakers is messaging me. Yes, I know the library's haunted. Sorry. But yeah, our local library is haunted. Which is definitely interesting. Oh, it's my mom. Hi, Mom. Newt, say hi to Mom. But yeah. Aliens. Aliens are a big topic. We don't know what to call our ghosts at the library. We just kind of call him the library ghost. I'm good, Mom. Talking about ghosts and cryptids, and apparently Scott has a ghost in the library where they're at called Basement Bob. That is true. To think we are, I'm really starting to hate this camera. To think that we are the only intelligent life. Okay. No, that is what my mom calls me. Not Matt. But to think we are the only intelligent life in the galaxy and in the universe in general is very, 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 very small-minded and closed-minded. Because Sorry. There's definitely other life outside of our universe. There's other universes outside our universe. There's other galaxies outside our universe and our galaxy. The Milky Way galaxy or galaxy. Hello. Odell. I don't want to screw up your first name. Afternoon to you. It's 7:33 here. But I think it's Howie. Hi, Howie. I really am bad at names, so don't hate me. Mom, don't tell embarrassing stories of me for my first show. But there's definitely universes outside our universe and galaxies outside of our galaxy, so we are not the only intelligent life. Like, there's not to say that aliens haven't visited us. There's nothing that says aliens haven't visited us before or that they're here now. They could be just like you and me. They could look just like you and me. They could have jobs like you and me. They could be your best friend. You don't know. It's weird when you think about it like that, huh? Think about it that way. Your best friend could be an alien. Your best friend could be a lizard man. Or if you want to get technical, your best friend might be a ghost. You can see ghosts. You don't know. Creepy. But anyway, I want to ask all of you guys if you know any cryptids. What is your favorite cryptid? Favorite cryptid? You can have two. Oh yeah. My mom has a friend who had he has body modifications and everything to look like a lizard man. And his name is Eric. He's Eric the Lizard Man. He's tattooed from head to toe. Squeaker's back.
Hey, sorry about that. I went to put my cam on mute and it like froze and bumped me off of the entire thing. I was like, no.
That's fine. You just missed my mom telling, everybody in my audience an embarrassing story about when I was younger, about stealing pumpkins and calling me pumpkin poo. And then I said something about lizard men, and this is true. My mom has a picture. She has a friend named Eric who has body modifications to look like a lizard, and he's tattooed from head all the way down.
Can we have him as a guest on our show?
I wish. If mom was still close with him, I would wish to have him on the show, because that'd be cool to talk to somebody who got body modifications like that to become a lizard man.
Yeah, I haven't seen one personally, but I have seen lizard creatures. I can't really explain it other than the fact that they're fast as hell, and yeah, it scurried across a building that I was in, and it freaked the hell out of me because at the time I wasn't really into the paranormal, and when you see stuff like that and you're not into the paranormal, it's just kind of like, huh?
So Scott is fond of Anubis. Anubis is a god, not really a cryptid, although you could kind of consider him a cryptid, considering the fact that he's half jackal, half man. But he's not really a cryptid. He's the god of death. Well, one of the gods of death. He's the one that sends you to the judgment. He's the one that judges you.
Not the. Is he kind of like the Riplinger?
Yeah, kind of. He's like the ancient Egyptian version of that. Or like the scale. If you've ever watched any like Egyptian films with the scales of destiny,
Yes.
he's the guy that puts your heart on the scale to weigh whether you go to the afterlife or you go to hell.
Okay.
I did not see Matt's question. What was your question? I did not see the question.
Was there a question or did he tease you?
Oh, what do you think about Men in Black sightings and theories? As far as the aliens in Men in Black go, I think they could be accurate. I don't know. I've never seen an alien. I know not all aliens are going to be grays or the gray aliens with the big black eyes and the round heads. I know that. Not every alien is going to be classified as a gray or a blue or whatever the hell you want to call it. A color of an alien.
Have you seen the aliens off of effing in a UFO?
Yeah.
Those ones are hilarious.
Oh, I mentioned something while you were gone about aliens hiding among us, and aliens could be like your best friend, and you don't even know.
I believe that. I've seen some strange stuff out there, and you just never know. Like, what's your theory of the Pope? I know I'm hitting a big
God.
topic here. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Heart rate goes like this and it snaps back. Do you think that's fake or real?
I feel like that's fake. I don't know though. Like you can Photoshop that too. You can Photoshop him like pulling on his nose and then stretch it out and then have it go back with animation. So
That's
I'm
hard.
relatively skeptical about it, especially with all the technology we have now.
Yeah, you know, I believe in like there's many different stories with the Catholic Church, and I don't want to get on that topic through the show right now, but there's a lot of different theories and different things that reside within the Catholic Church and paranormal. And I'm just like, okay, when I saw this article and stuff all about the Pope, I was like, oh, that one's gonna hit hard.
Oh god, there's so many comments. I gotta get caught up. Otherwise, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, you're missing my questions."
Because of my phone, I can't see them, so I apologize if I'm not seeing questions right now.
Howie said, "This is your first live." Well, I shared to my network page and fan group. It's a nice setup and energy. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, my mom. Yeah, he has his tongue split too. He's got a forked tongue.
Okay, I've seen that.
Yep.
That always, you know, I don't want to say it's strange or anything, but I'm like, oh, that's cool. Can I do that?
Yeah, he's got a forked tongue and he's tattooed. His face is tattooed. He had his eyebrows like beveled and everything. So he really looks like a lizard now.
Oh gosh.
He was only half tattooed when my mom and my one aunt took a picture with him. He had his arms and his neck done. His face wasn't done quite yet. And the top of his head was done. So the only part that wasn't tattooed or done yet was his face.
That's interesting.
Kinda, there's aliens hiding among us in the Men in Black mentor theme. That is true. That is very true. In Men in Black, there is people. Mom says, I think we are not alone. We would be pitiful to think we are. Which is true. We are. If you think we're alone in the universe and we are the only intelligent beings in the entire world, which I don't want to get into a disagreement with anybody that thinks we are, because that's a whole nother argument that I'm not getting into.
Yeah, there's just some things we're not going to get into at this particular time.
But it would. You're very close-minded if you think that, because there's definitely galaxies outside of our own.
Exactly.
With life just like ours. They might not look like us, but it's life just like ours.
Yep.
How do you feel about crossing of aliens and spirits? Could what we be experiencing not be spirits but alien actions? That could be possible. Although that does kind of tie into what Matt says of like a multiverse theory.
Yeah.
So kind of like going back to my favorite adult TV show, Rick and Morty, where he makes portals to different universes. And it's universes in this multitude of multiverses where there's a different Rick in each universe.
Have you seen that show Lock and Key?
Yes. Bye, Mom.
Kind of like that too, in a way.
Yeah, where they open the doors and it's to a completely different area.
Mm-hmm. The one that weirded me out was the one with the little boy, and I won't say exactly what, so I don't ruin it for others, but that one really creeped me out. I was like, oh my god, if a clown pops out, I'm running.
Yes, I know the theory based off of Rick and Morty, where Rick's portals can basically lead to anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true, because his portal gun basically in the show is infinite. Like, he can go anywhere in the universe, anytime, any multiverse. I mean, look at the Citadel, the Rick Citadel, which is basically where all Ricks across the multiverse just come in one space. Like, there's no way that wouldn't exist if there wasn't other universes.
That's true.
What's your favorite cryptid?
My favorite cryptid? Well, there's always Bigfoot. I grew up off of Bigfoot. I don't know. I've always wanted to see him, see if he's actually like what some of the movies say that he looks like and stuff. I think he looks totally different personally, and I feel like they are out there, but they like to hide, and so it's gonna be interesting if anybody actually truly does catch him.
Yeah, a real life theory. I don't think I've heard the real life theory, so if you want to come on, Paranormal Consultant, and explain your vast real life theory to me, be my guest. Because I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I'm kind of lost too, but
I mean, I know there's a theory, like a Rick and Morty theory, but I didn't know it, like, they actually applied it to real life.
I'm also kind of into the indigo, or the. I know I'm saying it.
I did not add you. You added yourself.
One of the benefits of owning the account.
I wish I had a real life theory.
It's the theory of the fedora. What's actually under
it? Scott is under it.
So real quick. So no, I just heard about this. Apparently, there are portals linked up all over the world and all over the universe. And there's a theory out there that obviously the government is hiding from us, that they're actually exploring these different portals through these vortexes and stuff like that, mapping out an actual
Stargate theory.
Oh no, yeah, Stargate is a big one.
This is a new one. It's basically a Rick and Morty
Waterworld.
This is a spinoff. And in actuality, what's really happening is they are actually bringing different people in and replacing them with substitutes. So what they're doing is they're going to different galaxies and stuff like that, finding people that are basically doppelgangers and replacing them into genuine society. and they're being monitored by the Men in Black to make sure that they can fit in.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it because people go missing all the time, and yes, there are those very few that I've always thought about this theory. Is it truly people that are getting all these other people, or is it something else that's snatching them up? Because it's just weird how people just go disappearing right off the bat. You know what I mean? And I know the military can do that too. They can snatch whoever the fuck they want to. Excuse my language, and nobody will know about it. You will just disappear off the side of the earth.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. But
Well,
but
yeah.
no, this theory, and apparently what they're working on is they're
Matt
working
can't talk about the military theories like
I
that.
know. That's why I'm not hitting on any more of that. But
he's
yeah.
technically still active in a sense.
Gotcha.
Scott, don't break my mind. No.
I am Mr. Fedora. I am wearing a fedora.
I don't know
Or
much
am
about
I
this topic, but I really
am I
really
only in fedora state when I'm wearing the fedora? That's okay. My cats have a fedora now too, so my cats have a fedora with feathers in it.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a military family too, so I get it.
I just wonder if Scott wakes up every morning and just yells "Fedora activate," and the fedora like comes to him like Thor's hammer.
Hey, eventually he might be able to get a remote-controlled fedora or a voice-activated fedora that just, flies on his head.
A Bluetooth fedora.
I don't know if I would trust him with that. He might make it into a voodoo doll, and then like every time he moves the electronical arm or something, Fedora's arm moves or something.
He puts a drone on a fedora and just looks off his head and flies away. But no, so that's
yes, the Fedora Legion is growing. We now have 3 cats that share one fedora.
But no, that Rick and Morty theory, it's not called that. It's something else. But you can, I'll try to find the article. But this article reads just like a Rick and Morty script, and I'm like, okay, I see where you're going.
Right.
But yeah, so apparently that's where all of our doppelgangers are coming from. It's not actually a spirit or a multiverse. It's actually from these portals that they're bringing in and trying to acclimate into our general population to see.
I wouldn't doubt it. It also goes off of, and I hate saying this because I'm not one that usually goes off of like Hollywood films or anything like that. But how do we think that we've got all this stuff out in our atmosphere? That obviously somebody saw something somewhere. So, I mean, I wouldn't doubt that we do have these portals out there and doppelgangers and such like that.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't just like, we just saw a meteorite and was like, we're going to put a bunch of satellites and telescopes looking at space now.
Which I really love about this field, and I've said this numerous times on the show. Everything is theory. But if you think about it, every urban legend, every rumor, every story starts with some truth. So if you think about it, like Bigfoot, Nessie, skinwalkers, Grimms, all that stuff, there has to be some sort of truth to it. So in my opinion, as far as the cryptid side, let's stop looking at the evidence and start looking at what's the history. Where did this begin? Where did this originate from? Because obviously there's something.
I actually have one of the original Grimm books. I gotta find it, and hopefully somebody didn't steal it. But it shows all the characters in it, like from folklore to real to, and it's interesting because I'm like, and I'm reading this, and I'm thinking, just like what you said, are these things real? Somebody had to have seen something to imagine it or to dream it.
Well, you can't tell me. I mean, they got to be on something really good. But ancient Egyptians were talking about flying chariots and flaming chariots and all these different things. Either they're on something really good or there's some truth behind it.
I mean, a lot of I will give them credit, though, for being on something. A lot of their water was bad. A lot of their, products had bad chemicals in it that we know now could poison you and give you hallucinations. So I wouldn't put it past them that they were on something, but I definitely think that what they saw wasn't a hallucination.
There's some truth, yeah. Well, anyway, I got to get going. I got to get back in, but I just wanted to pop on and talk about that theory because I just heard about it. I was really excited. So, but you ladies are doing absolutely phenomenal. Love you both. And B, I will see you in a couple hours. And squeakers, hope you feel better. And biscuits.
No more biscuits.
Biscuits.
I'll butter your biscuits if you don't get off my fucking show.
Brittany, what a good time.
That was great.
I'll bring the. Oh, here's another one. I'll bring the Coke.
No more Coke.
Thank you, Kenzie. Mackenzie. I totally butchered her name there.
I don't care. Everybody calls me. I get called Mac. I get called Kenzie. I get called Mackenzie. Everybody at work calls me Kenzie, so I don't really care. I know you and Lurker well enough now that you can call me Kenzie. So
nice. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
he just basically. I had the Paranormal Consultant take over the Wicca Consultant show.
We knew he was good at some point.
No, none of that, Scott. That's a secret. It's not a secret anymore, thanks to my mother. But that was a secret. Not even Matt knew that. Not even Matt knew that my mom called me that, and the reason why. She only ever texted it to me.
Out.
I know you have the power to come back, and I'm not tempting you. Don't.
Well, if I was on my laptop, I'd be like,
Have you heard that a guy wrote a song, Silent Lucidity, as part of a government testing program? In the song, you hear him pleading for help by whispering, "Help me." No, I did not. That's interesting.
Weird.
That sounds almost like the theory of the Russian sleep experiment.
Yes, I've heard of that. The Chinese had one too.
Yeah, but the Russian one was one that was like really well known, where they took a bunch of captured German concentration camp soldiers, put 4 of them in a room, pumped it full of like this drug that wouldn't let them sleep.
Yikes.
And then they were kept awake for 14 days.
The Chinese one is a little bit different. They believe that when you're sleeping, you can focus more. So a lot of their college student classes allow them to sleep during class. And they found out that it actually is pretty much 99.9% effective for their students to remember things.
Yeah, this was just to test to see if they could use a drug to keep their soldiers awake more in Russia. This was when the Soviet Union was still the Soviet Union, so stuff like that in like the 40s and 50s was not illegal to do to people. Yeah. It was not considered inhumane treatment of a human.
Well, I hope it is now, because that's just morally wrong.
Well, they also got told it's literally just a theory. Like, this is not. It's also basically kind of like a creepypasta story somebody based it off of, but it's also a theory that there was an actual Russian sleep experiment, because a lot of the creepypasta stories have to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of them people do think of, but some of them sound like way too real, or there was a lot of research done to do it for it to sound fake.
Yeah.
And the Russian sleep experiment is one of those that like sounds way too researched to be somebody just sitting at the computer board being like, oh, I'm gonna write a story about the Russians taking a bunch of Germans and making them stay awake for 14 days. It would take me months to like write something like that. And the creepypasta stories are all short stories. They're not very long.
That's interesting. First time I've heard of that one.
But yeah, it was just to keep them awake, and then they were promised that if they stayed awake for the full 14 days, that they would be set free of charges. So they would be absolved from their crimes against humanity.
Wow.
Yep. If they
If they
completed
could
this
stay awake and
experiment.
stay alive.
Well, they ended up at the end of the story. All 4 of them ended up dying. One of them died. He like ripped his insides out or something like that in the cell. So they shut the gas. They shut the gas off. They took the other 3 out to the infirmary, and they were like pleading to be put back on the gas because they didn't want to fall asleep. You really want to talk about SCPs? I'll go there. I know everything. I love SCPs. Don't even start. You didn't know what SCPs were until I showed you SCPs.
I don't even know what that is.
Secure, contain, protect.
Okay.
So the SCP Foundation, and I'm not quoting this, or I'm not disproving anybody's stuff. These are the SCP Foundation is a bunch of stories. Literally just stories. But a lot of them are rooted in truth, and quite a few of them are on cryptids. Like they have one about Bigfoot, where Bigfoot is actually a highly super intelligent species that has been here for like ever, and they're a lot smarter than we are. But at one point, we like got a hold of their weapons. Bye, Scott.
Bye.
I become smarter and avoid Freddy. There you go. You avoid Freddy Krueger in your sleep. But what are SCPs? SCPs are anomalies. So they're things that don't belong in our world. So think of the worst monster you could think of. That would be classified as an SCP. So they have a Wendigo as an SCP, Plague Doctor, he's an SCP. The Plague Doctor SCP can basically kill you with a touch because he thinks you're plagued with the pestilence, and then he'll bring you back to life as a zombie.
Okay.
So basically they're monsters and people with powers that don't belong there. Like there's a kid who can take the pain of others away. So basically like heal them in a sense by taking the pain or the injury onto himself by just touching them. There's another one, a piñata, that hunts down kids and then turns them into a piñata.
That's a new one on me. I've never heard of that one. A lot of this is gonna be new to me because I'm like, what?
These are the SCP stories because Matt wanted to know what an SCP was. So these are just stories that people have come up with over years and years and years. There's another SCP. There's actually a few. There's one called Miss Sweetie. She turns... I'm not just doing a show on SCPs new. I don't know that much. I know enough. Not that much. But, should probably take a little break to do the commercials, and then we'll be right back. Happy Hauntings thing is not mine, and I am, as far as the supporters for Matt are different. I don't have any supporters right now other than possibly the Parapost Network. Well, they're more of a sponsor as well as a supporter for both me and Matt. I think Bleeding Violins is also a supporter of me and Matt. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know a whole lot. Which is probably my bad. I should probably know more.
You're doing just fine. It's actually been a really good show outside of my bloopers, and I apologize for those. I've always got something going on too behind stage.
Oh, I could do that. I could do one live stream of just me doing my top 10 favorite SCPs and show you guys them.
That'd be cool.
Because they are just stories. It's just stories people come up with, and they work really hard on these stories. Like, they're super detailed. So I appreciate everybody that does the SCP writing because it takes a lot. As a writer myself, I understand the struggle. It sucks. I lost train of thought now that I played the freaking commercial video.
So you're Wiccan, right?
Yes.
What are some of the things you would like to bring on the Wiccan side to the Cryptid show?
Basically answering questions. Like, if anybody has any questions, or we could talk about. I taught Lurker something interesting today. I showed him the background on the Facebook chat, and he didn't know that it was a 5-pointed. He knew it was a 5-pointed star, but he didn't know that there was 6 elements. Because obviously everybody thinks of the first 5, Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air, the first 4. Nobody thinks of.
Is it Spirit?
Yep, everybody forgets about Spirit. Spirit is the most important thing in the Wiccan practice. I understand I lost a viewer for talking about this, but that's fine. Wicca is not for everybody.
It's not, and that, and that's the thing. If you're not into Wicca and you want to keep those spiritual boundaries, then yeah, go ahead and scroll on, or
You don't have to watch. I'm not here to get in a religious argument with anybody.
Nope.
I don't do that.
Nope.
Of course you would ask this. What is your best suggestion for baby Wiccas, and what are baby Wiccas? Or
I have a totally different theory.
It's technically baby witches, not Wicca. Get it right first before you come at me with your question.
I knew that one was going to come out.
But the best suggestion for a baby witch is research. Find what suits you. The very first thing is to find your stone. I don't have my stone down here. I should definitely go and find my stone at some point.
Research for books.
And books. Lots of books. I have books.
The internet is good, but there's so many different things on the internet that can steer you wrong at the very beginning, that books are more of a oh gosh, what am I thinking of? They're more of a guide than the internet is.
Okay, the very first book that I recommend to people, and I got this book quite a while ago. It is called The Wikipedia, a modern day White Witch's Guide. This book. You want this book. It is literally everything that a nowadays witch would need to know, as far as background and everything on Wicca. So Wiccan history is in that book. The other one, I got this one. You don't have to get this one, but it's everyday magic. It's ritual spells and potions to live your best life.
I think I have an old style book like that.
And then I got this one the same time I got my Wikipedia, which I believe I got these when me and Matt first started dating. I went to Spencer's and I saw them, and they only had 2 left, or 1 of each left. So I got them because Spencer's changes their inventory so much. There was literally no guarantee that I would see them again.
Mm-hmm.
This one is called This Is Just Witchcraft. It's a handbook of magic, spells, and potions. This is actually really helpful because it has pretty much everything from light witch spells to dark witch spells. Don't do the bad magic, though. The bad magic is the bad magic. No hexing, no curses. Don't do that when you first start out.
No, it's bad.
That's
really
a mistake. That's a mistake.
And that's with freezer spells, people.
That's the worst mistake you could make as a new witch.
I did it all backwards. I totally get that.
How do you find your element? Oh, well, every person has 2. There's a start. This is very contradictory. I am a fire and earth, which is relatively not contradictory. And I do have a third, which is rare, and that's water. That's what makes it contradictory.
Well, yeah, isn't there's the birth one, which you're Cancer and so am I, so that would be water, right?
Water, yep.
And then there's their other sign that you are familiar with.
Fire is mine.
I think mine is earth. And then I think I can't remember the third one. I don't know why I'm.
The third one is what amplifies your second. So technically mine would be air.
Gotcha.
Because air and fire go hand in hand.
Right.
What makes mine contradictory is, yes, my astrological sign is a water sign. I identify as my second element as a fire sign. Or a fire element because of my personality. I'm very honest. I'm very brutally honest. I do not care what you think of me. I care a little bit, but not that much to actually be like, oh, well, to take offense to what you have to say.
Right.
But that makes me a fire sign. So the fire water is very contradictory because they don't go together at all.
Right. Well, and that though is the privilege of when you're Wiccan, you pretty much, I don't want to say it's all free will, but I guess it is in a way. So there's really no rules to it, is there? Other than
no.
Other than the creed, and that's if you want to follow the creed.
If you follow the creed, there's 2 different kinds. There's the light side and the dark side.
Yeah. And then, of course, if you're solo or if you're with the Covenant, there are different creeds with each one, too.
Coven creeds are hard. I was in a coven. Coven creeds are hard. They are very hard. I was in a coven when I first started Wicca, and that's how I found out my second sign was fire. My coven leader helped me figure it out. We went up to her house because she didn't live like too far away. So a couple of my other coven members who were a little bit older than me came and picked me up. And we went up to her house and we sat in front of a bonfire. And since I was one of the younger initiates into the coven, I had to do the whole initiation process. And they were like, well, what's your first sign, which is your astrological sign, that would be your first element. And I was like, well, I'm a Cancer. They were like, well, that means you're a water sign. I was like, yeah, I know that's my first element because I love the water. Like, I love swimming, I love being near water, I love being around water. And then we sat in front of the bonfire and I started staring at it. Just staring, like everybody else was talking and like trying to explain things to me, but I just went blank and started staring at this bonfire. And then I reached my hand out to it and it started to move basically towards my hand. And my coven leader looked at me and was like, "You're a fire." I was like, "What?" She's like, "You're also a fire sign. That's your second element. You're a fire element." She's like, "I've never seen a water element, anybody ever have a water element and a fire element, and I've had this coven for a while."
I don't know much about that. I'm gonna have to research mine. I know though that I am a water from my birth sign, so that's always been a cue too. I love the ocean, and I honestly, if I could move to Seattle, I would.
If I
The
could
price
move
is
anywhere
crazy.
near the ocean, that would be so nice. I would love it. Even if
Yeah.
it's only even if I'm like 5 miles away or whatever, I'd be fine with that. If I could drive
Yeah,
5 minutes or 15 minutes away from the ocean, I'd be great.
exactly.
No questions about familiars, paranormal consultant. You know my familiar. Witches can have familiars. That is not
Yep.
just a movie thing.
Nope, and it's not just a cat or a dog. It could be many different things.
Yup. Your spirit guide could be your familiar for all you know.
I have one. I have one. But I don't know if it's a spirit guide or not. But I swear it's something that has followed me, and now it's following a few other people that I know in my family. And I've been told by a couple strangers that it could be because of my heritage. And I'm like, well, there's nothing anywhere of like, it's hard because there's nothing anywhere about what actually is, a part of your heritage and what's not. So it's like we're all just kind of learning. And so to have um, a show like this, which is basically a comfort circle, is just awesome because I'm like, well, now I can actually start talking about it and maybe find out if anybody else has experienced the same thing. Because this thing has actually showed itself to more than one person besides myself. And the only way that I can describe it is that it's medieval and he's in a medieval army outfit, and but he comes around during like the weirdest times, like times that are hard, and he's really cranky. I don't like to mess with him, but I have no idea what he could be other than something that has to do with my Norwegian background.
Yeah. Matt knows mine. My cat. My black cat, Princess. Casey, we're pretty much talking about anything. Cryptid spirits. I know it says creepy cryptids because that's like the main focus point of my whole thing quite a bit, but it's also about Wicca and anything else because I don't see a lot of Wicca podcasts. It makes me sad.
I've only actually seen yours and one other.
It makes me sad.
It really is because having that support circle it's needed. It's so needed. And just like our paranormal community, it was needed back then too, and now we've got it. And so I'm like excited to be a part of it because somewhere down the line we're going to really end up helping people because there are certain individuals that are afraid to ask for help within their family and outside. And so I just think what we're all creating is just completely awesome.
I mean that could be a very strong possibility. That's why we don't see a lot of cryptids, because they're not part of our world.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the only cryptids that people see a lot of are skinwalkers and possibly a Wendigo, but that's because it's Native American and they're made from people.
Do you think maybe that some of the cryptids that we see here are, or could be like banished from their land and like dropped off to Earth? Or
I mean, that's also a possibility. They could just be like outcasts of wherever they're from, whatever dimension or whatever they're from. So I do believe in the multiverse theory that there's more than one dimension in our dimension. So they could have just been kicked out of their dimension and are just walking along the planes of the multiverse in and out of existence, basically. So they're just walking through portal after portal after portal until they find some place that they consider safe, I guess. Which is why a lot of cities and places and states have cryptids. And you only see a lot of cryptids out in the woods or like in secluded places where there's not a lot of people.
yeah.
And there would only be one reason for that, and that's because they don't want to be seen.
So what's your theory on the dog man?
The dog man to me is like the goat man on the bridge. It's very weird. It's almost like the Goosebumps books.
Right.
Like the wolf of something lake. I can't remember the name of the book.
Wolf Larry or something?
Yeah, I think of something lake. But it's about a werewolf that just haunts a lake. He just hangs around a lake. It's weird.
There was one lake that I went to as a kid that I thought was really, really, really weird. You know, you get those energies and it's like you never forget the bad ones. And I swear, and besides seeing what I thought I saw when I was a kid, I swear up and down I saw one day out at the lake, and I didn't know what it was until like a couple weeks ago when somebody started talking about the dog man, and I'm like, "Oh, are you serious?" Like I wasn't nuts.
See, that I don't think. I don't think they're spirits of extinct animals. I don't think they're ghosts. I think they're living, breathing creatures. It's an interesting theory, but I feel like they're actual living, breathing creatures that are like popping in and out of existence. It's like Slender Man. Like people write stories about it, and it becomes real. Like the Wraith. The Wraith is another one.
In that theory, I do kind of believe it because I had something happen, and I kid you not, I was in the hospital back in 2010, and I'm not gonna say what because that's just personal. But I ended up having this really bad nightmare, and I didn't say anything about it, and it was about clowns. And I have seen that movie, Clowns from Outer Space. I hate it.
I hate
But
clowns.
I was thinking nothing of it, and then 2 or 3 years later, all of a sudden we have this problem with the clowns going around trying to snatch kids, and I'm like thinking that's fucking weird that I started having that certain dream, and then this started happening, and I'm like going, it was weird. I still to this day cannot explain it.
Yeah, it's like you think of something and then it just kind of happens. It's like I'm still like Casey said something about the dimensional theory, which is what I was talking about the multiverse and dimensions on top of dimensions.
Yeah.
So we have our dimension, and then there could be a dimension on top of our dimension, and then a dimension on top of that dimension, and then it just goes up like a ladder.
Well, yeah, and then there's just that, you know, that theory of, well, movies can make you think anything, so, it's not necessarily that, but it's just something that's going on in the atmosphere. But I honestly think that I was able. I think it honestly was a premonition, but I didn't know exactly what that was at the time.
Okay, bye. Have fun at work. Thinking things into existence reminds me of thought forms. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
what I'm talking about like Slender Man. Slender Man is a story that you think about it so much, just like the Wraith, because the Wraith started out as an internet story, and then people made videos about it where somebody was dressed up in a suit, like a really elaborate suit, and was just going around dressed as the Wraith, like pretending to attack people. That's how Slenderman got started when I was in like middle school. It was just a story on the internet that somebody came up with, and the more and more and more he was talked about, the more and more and more he started to become more of a cryptid and less of a story. It's almost like the more people thought about him, he just magically appeared into existence. Because there have been sightings of things that look like Slenderman, like a guy in a suit, like a really tall guy with no face in a suit walking around places. And then people go missing. It's just weird.
Yeah, there was that one story again with those three kids that said that they saw him, and they ended up
Oh,
out
and
in
they
the woods
murdered their
during a
friend.
summer party. Yeah, that one was weird to me, and that was the first time I ever heard of Slender Man was from that article in the news, and I was like, that's just odd.
Yeah, it was three teenage girls. That was when I was in like high school. It's three teenage girls that killed their friend because Slenderman told them to do it.
And both of their descriptions were like on key, like they were not off at all, and which is why the detectives were like, well, this is just odd. And then after that, it seemed like people were creating stories of this character, and seeing things, and so it then became real to them. And I'm not saying it isn't, but it's just, to me, it's just weird.
It's that whole thing Scott was talking about intent. Like the thought form is basically putting enough energy into an object or a thought
Mm-hmm.
to make it real, which is what I think happened with Slenderman. Was he was all over everywhere, all over the internet. There was tons and tons of YouTube videos about him. Like there was just a lot about Slenderman for like years
Yeah,
and years and years. Which how many people go on the internet a day? Like a million? More than a million?
more than a million. Like the
Yeah,
whole world, basically.
just to look that kind of stuff up because they hear about it through their friends and they're like, oh, I'm going to go look it up and read about it, watch some videos about it. And then they start thinking about it a lot and they look up more and they look up more and they look up more. And it becomes basically they're putting energy into this story to make it real.
Mm-hmm.
So cryptids in turn could just be thought forms as well, like things that have just been put into the universe because somebody thought about it.
Yep, I believe that. And I one of the other ones that I'm always interested in, but I can't stand, is the theory of the troll.
Yeah, I don't like those.
I don't like them, but I'm interested in the actual theory, like because of everything that's gone on with my family, and I'm like, why am I even looking into it? But I'd rather like to know some things that other people might have seen than not, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but that is one that I've seen certain things. I've actually seen a troll run across the yard and zap into nowhere. Like it was literally like it zapped itself into a portal. And I thought I was high, and I wasn't. I was like, I was only a teenager at the time, and I was, that's just nuts. I'm going inside. Time to. But it was weird. I honestly thought, I was like, okay, is that my medication or is that something else?
I've seen, and this I will say, I have seen fairies, like the little sparkly lights that everybody's like, oh no, that's just a firefly. But it's a lot
Okay.
brighter. It's a lot brighter than a firefly.
Right.
Fireflies don't have white light. They are green. I know the difference between a firefly and something that is not a bug.
I love the fairy. I haven't personally seen one myself, but I love the theory of them, and I've got a few books on fairies.
I love the
And
fae.
one is actually very lifelike, and I forget what the author's name was on that, but it's actually a children's book, and it talks about all these fairies that this little girl was capturing in her flower book, and the way that they look, including little goblin fairies, and I just thought it was really cool. And if I actually saw one in real life, I'd probably freak out in a good way, though.
There's a bunch of other ones as well, like silkies, or the horse, the horse that we don't say his name.
Yeah, see, that's another thing that I'm learning a lot about too. I don't know all these different names for them or anything. There just hasn't been a lot of how do I put it? Information. I didn't know where to look and where to find things, and I'm starting to now learn.
It's a lot of research. That's what I do. I just Google things until I find a site that looks authentic.
Right, exactly. And that's the hardest part though too. Like and this is one thing that I told my family too, I'll be online looking for certain things, even outside of the paranormal. I'll be looking like for a phone number and it takes me to something else. And I'm like going, no wonder people can't find the information that they need on cryptids or the paranormal, because there's so much out there that people have put on there that you're going to get thrown off to something different that you're looking for.
Yeah, and you can't trust Wikipedia either, because anybody with a Wikipedia account can go on and change the stuff.
Yeah. So to have podcasts like these, this is just, it's amazing to me, and I love it.
Definitely should not let fairies into your house. That's a bad. Don't do that.
Of course.
Because even if they are supposedly playing with you,
They're still magnificent.
they could be. Some of them aren't. Some of them aren't super bad, but you definitely should take precaution into making sure that they stay away from your house. Then you need to put up barriers. She says they sneak in. Then you need to put up barriers at your house to stop them from doing that. Don't do offerings. Everybody says, oh, just offer them some sugar or whatever.
That was gonna be my next question.
Don't do that. And actually depends. It actually depends on the fae whether you need that or not. Cast iron. So you need to figure out what kind of fae you have before you just start putting iron all over your house. Because different fae are deterred by different materials. I have ones in a tree outside my house, and they don't like wind chimes. So I have wind chimes all over my front porch.
Nice. You know what I got outside my house? An owl, a pigeon, and a magpie.
The only reason I found out that they don't like wind chimes is that whole story about I thought I saw a fairy, and my friends were telling me it wasn't a fairy, it was a firefly. And then it got close to the wind chimes, and it was kind of windy. It was like a summer night, so it was a nice wind because it was really hot. But the wind chimes went off and it just kind of fell to the ground. And I was like, bugs don't just fall to the ground when they hear some chimes.
No.
But I didn't say anything out loud. I just kind of brushed it off because obviously I was younger. So I was like, it's just nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something stupid. And then I realized when I got my abilities, when I became the empath I am, that I could kind of see Fae. Which is weird because I can't see ghosts, but I can see Fae. It's weird. I don't get that.
I don't know what that would be called, but it's got to be some sort of a clairvoyance or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either. I can't see ghosts, though.
See, I could see them, smell them, hear them, and sometimes it's talk to them, but it's not very often.
I can smell things, like, my dad's dad smoked cigarettes, so I always smell the smell of, like, menthol cigarettes when he's in the room, and it's like a heavy menthol smell. So
Yeah.
it's not something that you can ignore.
Not smoke.
Yeah, it's not something you can ignore when they walk in the room.
Mine, very oddly, whenever I know my grandfather comes around, and my grandpa was a hunter and a fisher, and when he went on those trips, he would always take sausage or things like that. Well, I swear, every time I know he's around is when I smell sausage out of the blue, and we're not cooking it. It's weird. It's like, and my mom used to smell it too, and we were laughing about it one day because I was like, "Yeah, I smelt that too." And so, yeah, every time I know he's around is usually when there's a smell of sausage in the air, which is really weird.
Fae also don't like cats. Because cats can see them. They don't like really any animals. Also, Buddy is a good deterrent. Matt's spirit guide is a good deterrent for the Fae in my house. He tries to eat them.
That's good.
He should not do that, though.
Well, I guess it's good and bad in a way.
Because one of these times he's gonna piss it off and it's gonna flick him in the nose or bite him or something.
Poor cat.
Natsu tries to eat them. I think he caught one or was chasing something, because the one night I came home from work and he was at the bottom of the tree looking straight up in the tree. And there was nothing there. And usually he only does that when he sees squirrels, but he didn't climb the tree. If it was a squirrel, he would have climbed the tree because my cat just has a natural hunter instinct. But he just stopped at the bottom of the tree and was looking straight up with his tail swishing as fast as it could possibly go back and forth. And I was like, Natsu, what are you doing? And I look up and I see a bunch of lights. And I'm like, oh, stay away from those.
All of a sudden you see the cat flying across the yard.
I was like, the last thing I need is to have you be cursed by a fairy because you attacked it. And he did. He just walked away. And I looked up at them, and then the next thing I saw was some of the lights looking down, and I was like, hi, stay away from my cat. And I walked inside.
There you go.
So they know I see them.
That's the thing, that's part of spiritual boundaries right there. Don't be afraid. If you see something that nobody does, don't be afraid to tell it. Where's the boss when it's at your place? Because otherwise they're going to make it their own home.
Well, right now we don't have a whole lot of time. Me and Matt are working a lot. I'm working all week this week from tomorrow till Saturday. I work all day tomorrow. So I'll probably be there till 9 o'clock. Yay. Can't everybody tell how excited I am? But since Casey seems to be interacting with us, what's your favorite cryptid, Casey? We asked everybody else. The only person that really answered me was Scott. He said Anubis, but Anubis is a god, not a cryptid. But I guess that's close enough. I do like the Mothman. I want to go to visit the Mothman gift shop. They have like everything Mothman. They have t-shirts. They have a hat that looks like Mothman. It's got like the moth ears on it.
That's cool. There's so much I need to learn about cryptids. It's not even funny. I feel so lost right now. I'm like going, I'm literally seeing birds up on my top of my head.
Oh yeah, dragons. Dragons are a cryptid too.
I love dragons.
A man up north in PA reported seeing a huge lizard-looking flying creature while out hiking with his dog. That would terrify me.
I'd be like, what the hell is going on with Earth right now?
I'm not even gonna lie. If I saw like a giant lizard-looking creature flying through the sky and it was huge, like the size of a plane, I would run. And I don't run a whole lot, but I would run. I would
My
not want that
chubby
thing to
butt
see
would
me.
run too.
I would not want that thing to see me. I would be its next dinner.
I'd have to hide. I'd be like, run, 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 hide. Run, 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 hide. I hope to God I don't flop.
I still say the best cryptid though is werewolves.
Yeah. I think they've been around forever too. The story of them and the concept.
I still think werewolves are a legit thing. I think it's genetic though. I don't think it's something that if you get bit by somebody who's a werewolf, like in the movies, you'll just turn into a werewolf. I feel like it's a genetic thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that would be passed down from family member to family member. And no, I'm not talking about the werewolf disease, the thing that makes you grow a lot of hair. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually like werewolves. Because everybody thinks when I talk about werewolves that I'm talking about the disease where your body is completely covered in hair.
Right.
But no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that can turn into dogs, basically, like huge dogs.
Kind of like that movie, The Wolfman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still say I saw one when I was younger, when I was in like 5th or 6th grade. I saw one in my friend's neighborhood. I think the werewolf lives there.
Wow.
Because I don't think they usually don't travel. See, claiming is not the same. I would want proof. I had a friend who said he was a werewolf too, but that was fucking fake. Anybody who claims to. Anybody who is like a legit werewolf or comes from a family of lycanthrope in general would not want that to be known.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're not going to go around telling people, oh, I'm a werewolf.
Not in today's society, because we still have the conflict of the past too. Not all people are acceptable to it.
Well, not even that. Like, if I had somebody come up to me and be like, oh, I'm a werewolf, I'm going to be like, huh, you're crazy.
Right?
Like, I think you need some psychiatric help if you think you're a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you show me actual proof, I'm not going to believe you. I'm going to think you're nuts.
Exactly.
psychic vampires. There's no such thing. Vampires, yes. Psychic vampires, I don't think that's a thing. Also, people, if you are a vampire, you're not going to go around telling people you're a vampire.
Or that you suck blood.
Yeah, you're not going to tell people that.
I've heard that before, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I try not to be blunt, and I try not to have a poker face, but I can't ever not have a poker face. And somebody actually said that to me, and I was like, I just started laughing. And you would think I wouldn't, because I'm really into the paranormal and stuff. I just started laughing. I couldn't help it. I was like, I'm sorry, dude.
That's not a psychic vampire. That's an energy vampire. So she had it wrong if that's what she said.
Okay.
She said, this girl apparently said, I get really tired and weak if I don't steal energy from people. That's an energy vampire. That's somebody that steals other people's energy. That's a legit thing. If she is one, which is bad.
Now, how do you roll that out from a narcissist?
That is kind of true.
Did I just mind bubble you? I have a tendency to do that too.
That is kind of true, but there is such a thing as like energy vampires. They don't it's not your typical vampire that drinks blood. It's
right.
It's a vampire who chooses a victim, basically, and just hangs around them as much as possible.
Yeah.
They are slowly draining the life force out of the person. So they're basically taking years off their life.
I think I met a few of those, but then I would have to go between the theory of a narcissistic and of energy vampire.
Hi, Ray. Or Raymond. I don't know which one.
Thanks, Raymond. I still have one energy drink, but it's in my office. I'm trying to save that for the show.
Yeah, Matt has one in the fridge, the one I told you guys about, the Swedish Fish one.
That's actually really good.
I didn't like it too much. Sorry, Ghost. I'm not a fan of your Swedish Fish.
I think it would taste better if it was in the fridge. I haven't had put mine in the fridge yet. So. On ice.
I'm not a big fan of Swedish Fish to begin with, so I'm a little weird about it. I like all the other flavors, though. I want to try the strawberry one they came out with.
Ooh, strawberry?
I've
had the mango, the raspberry, and what's the Swedish Fish one? The red berry.
I've had the mango, the red berry, the blue raspberry, and the creamsicle.
Yeah, I want to try those ones too. The only place that I can get them at right now that I've found over here is Albertsons.
There's a couple places, but the problem is I think they're becoming so popular that a lot of places can't keep them in stock, because I know I went to like 3 different Sheets the one morning when I had to go to work because I wanted to get an energy drink because I was there all day. And I couldn't find them. Every Sheets I went to and the 2 7-Elevens I went to were completely sold out. They didn't have any.
No. See, and I don't think we have like a couple 7-Elevens left in town, and the rest are all Nom Noms and Mavericks. And a couple odds and ends.
We have the health food store, DG or something like that. I don't remember what it is, but they sell it there. They sell it by the case.
Hmm.
And they have the powders too, the powdered stuff.
Honestly, I don't know if I can handle a case of the ghost ones. I think they're becoming my favorite now. I was addicted to bangs, but nope.
I still like Monster, but if I want like a 0 sugar one, I'm probably gonna go with Ghost because it tastes better than 0 sugar Monster.
Yeah, and honestly, like what Lurker said, they don't make me feel so jittery.
Yeah, that's the other thing is I don't get
a
yeah, I don't get a crash from it. That kind of defeats the purpose of an energy drink to have a half caffeinated energy drink.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having decaf coffee, but wanting the wanting the caffeine in the coffee. That's makes it pointless.
It does, but then there's people like me that can't have that much caffeine, and that's another thing. I didn't get a caffeine high off of that either. I thought I was going to, but I did not. And usually when I drink coffee, it makes me sick, even though I love coffee. Like the caffeine literally makes me feel like I'm drunk. It's weird.
I like caffeine. I couldn't imagine not having caffeine.
Well, I know it sucks because and it's just the coffee caffeine that makes me really ill. Like
I don't like
everything else.
coffee.
I love iced coffee.
I'll drink a Starbucks Frappuccino every once in a while, but that's rare.
And a lot of my family are coffee drinkers, so when I'm sitting here like I can't have that much coffee, but I love it. I love the flavor of it. And if I want something hot, I'll drink it, but
Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is too much. Dr. Pepper tastes like super carbonated cough syrup to me.
I love Dr. Pepper.
I'll drink it every once in a while, but I have to get like a small soda if I do get Dr. Pepper because I won't drink the whole thing.
I can see that. Now my question is those that do like Dr. Pepper, what flavor do you taste the most in it? Totally off of our subject, but
I like my Dr. Barbecue water. That's fair. Barbecue water. That's what I call it. Sheath has a barbecue sauce. It's a Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce. I like that. That's good.
That's good. I'll put it with some meat sometimes. I'll just throw in a thing of Dr. Pepper.
I love it with chicken nuggets. This is basically an anything show. We can basically talk about anything. It could just be a whole show of talking about food, but let's not do that.
We've been pretty good at staying on topic and stuff, so yeah.
Dr. Pepper tastes like Dr. Pepper. It's got
23.
Too much going on the name flavor.
I think it tastes like plum and vanilla to me, but that's just...
It kind of tastes like vanilla. There's a little hint of vanilla in there.
Matt, I said plum. Plum. We're not going to go down that road again.
He had to deal with something at work.
Yeah. Just saying that for future reference. I said plum.
He'll probably watch later. Or he's back. I don't know. This says 4 people now. Oh, there's one person. Hey, I see somebody watching me on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, who are you?
I love that. It's just like, who are you?
Like, nobody ever watches my game streams on Twitch. So, hola. I don't know much Spanish. So that's about the extent of my Spanish is hola. And no hablo español.
I can say some of the numbers, but I can't say some of the things in Spanish because all I know is bad words.
I can count to 10, and I know some names of the colors. I know 2. I knew azul is blue and rojo is red. That's it.
Nice.
I don't want to be watched by a large lizard on Twitch. If the large lizard is watching me on Twitch, go away.
I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Anyway, hi Jen. How are you? This is Creepy Cryptids with the Wicca Consultant, Matt's better half, and co-host Squeakers.
Hello.
I still want to know who's on Twitch watching me. I demand to know.
Right.
Is it one of my friends or is it just somebody random? Or it could be a bot. Twitch has had a lot of bots recently, but
Hello, bot.
either that or it's either of my friends, which both of their names are Brian. So we have Shady Brian. We call him Shady Brian because when I first met him, he stood in the corner of the dish room and everybody just called him Shady. And then I originally found out that his name was Brian, so I started calling him Shady Brian. And then it just went from Shady Brian to Shady. And then we have who I'm going to refer to as Asian Brian because he's Korean, I believe. Do not hate me if I got that wrong, Brian. But he is also named Brian, and we started calling him BWow. So we have BWow and Shady. So which one of you is it? Because you two are the only two that follow me on Twitch. Or it could be a bot. But if it is a bot, hi Twitch bot, whatever you are. Don't send me to Twitch jail, please. I've been in Twitch jail once for my gaming streams. For no reason. I put in my Twitch that there is adult language, so I filed under 18 plus for my Twitch. For obvious reasons, because you can go to Twitch jail if you don't. And a bot reported me as being racist or saying racist comments and slurs. So I got put in Twitch jail and got locked out of my account for like a month.
That sounds like what happened to me the other day. I was really weirded out. It was my own photo and the background, the ghost that's like up above in the right-hand corner. I was doing something for the energy drinks wise, and it wouldn't let me put it on there. I was like, well, that's just nuts.
Oh, you were on Matt's show.
Mm-hmm.
She said she was on the show a few weeks ago.
Yep.
I'm not usually on the show. It depends on.
Hello. Hey, everybody. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you can see me or whatnot, but hello. Welcome to my big face.
Cats got up on the table and hit a button, and I was.
He wanted to have his 2 cents worth.
He wanted my attention, apparently. He hit one of the buttons on the mouse, and I just left, and I was like, no!
I was like, hello, face.
Oh, it's Emmy. Hi, Emmy.
Hello, Emmy.
I don't know when I start my promotion at work, but I got it. I know Matt told you that, but I got my promotion.
Congrats.
I don't know when that starts, though.
Congrats.
Is that, it's not bittersweet. Bratwurst. The little crested gecko that just hatched. She's the one I got my big lizard from. She's the one that I got Blitz from. The retired old man.
I was thinking about getting one from her, but I don't know how they would. I don't think I would want to put a lizard through that many days in the mail. I know they can be shipped in the mail, but that would.
Yeah, it has to be a certain packaging though.
Yeah.
There has to be a lot of insulation because they require a lot of humidity. Although now, with it being summertime, usually is the best time to have one shipped if you do want one. because of it being warmer out. A lot of breeders don't ship in the winter because it's too hard on the lizards.
That's good to know.
Oh, it's the big boy. The one she got at the reptile festival or reptile convention. Me and Matt went with her to. She got a blue tongue skinks. He's this big lizard that just hangs out.
Nice.
Oh, her newest female that she got, Bittersweet, was shipped from California to Pennsylvania.
Dang. How many days was that? Like 4 or 5? No wonder.
From California to Pennsylvania, the drive is probably really long. I don't even know.
Do you have a baby over there?
I have a cat.
Was that the cat that I was hearing?
Yeah, it's Marble. She's crying for her boyfriend.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute here. Why am I hearing a kid?
Yeah, no, that is a kid. It is a child. It is a furry child, though.
Yes.
She's the one that got up on the desk and hit the button and made me go by.
Oh, she's the one that wants the attention.
Yeah, but she's also the one that doesn't like to be touched. So
Gotcha.
when I did reach out to get her off of the computer, she ran away.
No. She was like, hell no, you're not touching me.
Nope. I did what I came to do, and now I'm leaving.
Messed it up.
Oh, they do overnight. It only took them a day. They do rush overnight shipping if it's really, really far away. That makes sense, actually. From California to Pennsylvania, it's like a probably 4 or 5 day trip. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mark.
Hello.
I don't know who a lot of these people are. I know they follow Matt. I know Emmy, though. I should have Emmy on my show to talk about cryptids and stuff one time.
That would be cool.
Ow.
I may have to get off here in just a few.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go soon, too. I have to go to the bathroom. I also have other things I have to do. But yes, I got the job. Oh, it's Mark from Enlightened Souls. Okay. Now I remember. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. I know I was on your guys' show with Matt. I'm just really bad with remembering names. So if I forget some people, I'm sorry. But we're probably going to wrap up the show because I have things I have to do before Matt goes to work or gets home from work, goes to work. He's already at work. Gets home from work. But this was fun.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. I think it was good for our first show, and I'm looking forward to more.
This by the way, peoples, this will be an every Monday thing, even if it's just me by myself.
And I apologize for the way I look right now. I'm not having a good day. So, but
oh yes, you be safe as well, and para-unity is imperative.
Yep.
This channel also supports para-unity.
Yep.
See you next Monday. And yes, Casey, you can come on the show sometime too. We can sit and have a chat about cryptids and everything. But I appreciate you coming to help with the show. the very first show, Squiggers.
Yeah, you're welcome. Like I said, I apologize for the bloopers, and lately it just seems like I'm bloopering.
There was a lot of silence time when I
Yeah,
first for my
definitely.
first show because I ran out of things to talk about.
And then my freaking phone froze on me and bumped me out of the whole entire. Gotta love technology.
So sadly, unlike Matt, I don't have an outro video. So you guys are gonna just have to deal with me coming up with an outro on the fly because I haven't really rehearsed one. But yeah, we're gonna end the show. So
Thanks, guys, for coming.
yeah, thanks for coming on, and I will see you all next Monday. So that was fun for my very first show. I appreciate everybody who watched and all the support from people who have been on Matt's show, like Mark and Emmy and Jen, Ray, obviously Casey, and everybody, my mom. I appreciate everybody. I really, really do. This is going to be an every Monday show, probably around 7 or 8 o'clock, depending on how my day goes. But I'll try to come up with a more consistent schedule. But anyway, I would like to thank you all for coming, and I will see you all later, Parapals. Bye.